Alright, what's going on, guys? Sorry about that. Oh man, got a lot of people chatting already. Sorry guys, I was about to start the live stream and then I got a phone call I had to take, so it was like a 7 minute intermission there. Okay, I'm gonna read through some of these comments here I'm getting. Just want to say you're a big inspiration for dealing with art, procrastination, and just getting in there and doing it. Yeah, I'm glad to hear. I try to, I try to be disciplined myself as much as I can. I did two small paintings today, two 6x8s, and every day that I've had like free time, I've been trying to just do like 2 to 3 paintings and just get stuff done. What is happening here today? Whatever. I don't know. I might critique some paintings that people send in. I might just do it live. I might just ramble on about nothing, but most likely it'll be educational, inspirational stuff. I might talk about something crazy that happened yesterday when I went into a forest and hiked around Redwood Forest. I did something really stupid, but I survived, luckily. I started watching your videos on how to draw, and it's helping me a lot. Thank you so much. Hey, thank you. I'm glad the videos are helping. I remember a really old video you have of you talking about that in like a park on a small bridge, I think. Amazing video. Yeah, I remember. I know exactly the one you're talking about. I was in Delaware in a park on a bridge, no one else around, so I just made a video outside. It was pretty cool. Uh, blah, blah, blah. Brandon, did you ever get into minimalism? It's hard to like say. Looking at my apartment right now, no, I didn't. One of the things is my girlfriend keeps bringing home stuff, and we end up getting more and more and more stuff. I get stuff too. I like having painting books, and um, I don't buy stuff all too often. When I find a good painting book, I'll buy a few painting books a year, maybe 3 to 5 painting books a year. That's probably a lot of what I buy. I mostly buy like art supplies and stuff. As you can see behind me, I'm this whole painting corner, and here's all my painting stuff uh, set up. I got a whole kitchen cart. That whole corner is kind of my painting studio, and I'm in a studio apartment with a loft. It's 400 square feet, so it's a pretty small place, and it's just packed. I don't even want to show all this stuff, but we're just packed full of stuff. Shelves, books, coffee table, desks. I'm at our dining room table right now. This is my desk. I sit here every day instead of sitting on the couch. It's crazy, but minimalism. Let me get back to the point here. I tried to, as much as possible, get rid of stuff that I don't need. If I see something that's been laying around for a while that I haven't used in like a year and I didn't even know I still had it, I just donate it. I get rid of it. Um, I'm constantly going through all my books and going, okay, what books don't I need? I've done that plenty of times. I've gone through my closet. I go through my clothes all the time. I just try to get rid of everything because it's all just emotional attachment to stuff, and that most of the stuff you're hanging on to it when you can just let it go and it's not going to matter, because when you die, all this stuff doesn't come with you. And that's the interesting thing about painting. I've always thought about, actually recently, I thought about making a video on painting and materialism, because to me, I don't know, I don't really know the opposite of minimalism, but to me, I would say it's materialism. Having all these things, and it's like, does me painting, does that contribute to materialism? Like, And I've always just thought about it, and it's an interesting concept. Like, I don't want to be contributing to materialism. I don't want to just make meaningless junk, just that people just cluttering up people's houses and stuff. But then I thought about it, and I'm like, paintings, like these paintings behind me here. I mean, those are beautiful things. I'm capturing the type of paintings I do are forest paintings. This whole wall over here is in front of me is just big forest paintings I've done, and I might show that here in a few minutes. But I want my stuff to have a meaning, to have a purpose, and I think to me that kind of combats or kind of contradicts materialism in a sense. Materialism is like jewelry and clothes and shoes. It's mostly, okay, I wouldn't say it's all women, um, but when you think about that, clothes and shoes and jewelry, that's all women stuff. But men can be materialistic too. Um, but anyway, I just try to paint meaningful things. Anyway, that's a big rant on materialism. So, I guess I hope that answers your question somehow. Could you make a series on how to draw human anatomy? It's on my list of to-dos, and it's so far down that it's going to happen eventually. It's just there's already so many good videos out there on how to draw human. I mean, go on YouTube and type in how to draw the human figure or how to draw the head. I mean, there's just hours and hours of great video that I don't know if I could do it any better, honestly. And I'm trying to stay real focused on painting. I did a few drawing videos that are on my Patreon that I started doing a drawing series. I started redoing the how to draw series, and I'm gonna end up finishing it. I got it all planned out, and then I'm just gonna promote the series, and you can join me on Patreon and watch it all. But as of right now, and I'm also gonna do the how to paint series, and basically it's gonna take you from ground zero. What materials do I need? And what materials do I need? How do I get started? What are the absolute fundamentals, basics, and just start building on all those concepts. I mean, that's what I did with the drawing series so far. I mean, I basically started out with, here's all the materials that I'm used for the most part. And the next video was like, using line and getting used to your materials. Like, you have to get used to the technical aspects of your materials. Like, discover how your brushes, how your pencils work, what kind of lines you can make, how well does each eraser work, how dark can you get, how light can you get, creating gradients, value scales. And then I just keep building on that. Okay, here's creating form. Now we're introducing light and all the different types of light, and then planes. And it builds up, because to know how to draw humans or the human anatomy, like the face, you have to understand form and light. There's obviously a light right here, and it's shining down on me. So you have to understand light, shadow, reflected light. There's obviously light from this side. And there's different planes in my face. There's like my nose here. There's planes on this side. The forehead's one plane. Then you have the side plane. You have to understand all these different planes and how light affects them and all this stuff. So, big long rant. Hope that answered your question. I have a question. I just started drawing, and I use regular school pencil, and I want to ask what kind of pencil set I should get. A drawing pencil set. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. You just get a few. You can go on Amazon. You get like a $10 or $5 set of pencils. It has like 8 pencils in it. And that's all you need. It's not that complicated, honestly. Can't wait for that painting series. Yeah, I mean, that's what I want. I've for me, the paintings that I do and the way that I paint, and all the time I've spent oil painting. I painted with acrylics for like 4.5 years or 4 years, something like that, and then I switched to oils. And so far, it's been I think right now this month I think it'll be 2 years of me painting with oils and experimenting with oils, and I'm really starting to learn a lot about, I've already learned a lot about um, how they work, how to use them, and how that I can use them very simply and understanding it in a very simple manner, because you go online and you Google stuff about glazing or oiling out or varnishing, and you will lose your mind. I'm serious. You will lose your mind reading all these forums and all these different artists talking about all these different methods of, no, this is, you should do this. Oh wait, I heard from Gamblin that you should do this. Or Winsor and Newton said, oh wait, you can't use that to oil out. Use this. And it's like, oh my God, you will lose your mind. So I've stripped all that bullcrap out. All the junk I've kind of shed out. For the way that I paint, I use paint straight from the tube. I only thin it down in the very, very first stage of the painting, which is the sketch. That's the only time I thin down my paint. And you don't have to paint that way. I'm just explaining, this is how I do it, that I create it. I make it as simple as possible for me, because if it's complicated, I'm not going to want to do it every day or do it all the time. And I paint wet into wet. I don't paint in a whole bunch of different layers. Now, wet into wet, I will like layer on top of what I already put down, but it's going to blend. I also, sometimes I'll have a painting that's been drying, that has dried like 2 weeks ago, and it's been sitting there, and I'll paint back onto it. And I just use paint straight from the tube. The whole painting was used with paint straight from the tube, and it's dry. It only takes like 2, maybe 3 days to dry all the way to the touch fully. Some of the thicker areas will still be a little wet. But you give it a week or two, the whole painting is going to be dry. You can use paint straight from the tube straight on top of it again. Because I didn't add any mediums to it, so there's no complicated like fat over lean, what's this ratio, what did I do, now I got to add this medium to it. You don't have to do any of that. Just paint straight from the tube. Now, if I wanted to, I do use, sometimes I'll use like, when I do go plein air painting and I really need the paint to just be fluid in that moment, I'll use a medium from Gamblin called Neo McGilp. That's the only medium I ever use when I do use it, which is like 5% of the time. Anyway, just a rant on how I oil paint. I've talked about it a lot, but I always have a new audience of 30 different people every time I do these live streams. I never know who's tuning in, but it's always like 30 people, 30 to 40 people, and it's always different folks. Hey, I really need to learn from basics of painting and colors. I already have so many videos on color mixing that are just so simple using a basic color palette. I mean, how do you highlight a distant mountain to look like a rocky surface? I could never explain that. That's, what you do. Give me 1 second, 2 seconds. Because this is going to demonstrate my point. You get a book like this, Edgar Payne, somebody that paints rocks and stuff, and you look at his paintings in this book. You go through and just soak up all these different paintings and scenarios and situations. He does a lot of rocks and stuff. So my point is, figure out how you like to paint, in what manner. Find artists that are somewhat similar to that, or artists that you like. Usually artists that you like, you're going to pick up some of their style. Like with some of my paintings, they look they have very similar kind of brushstrokes to Edgar Payne's, because I love his paintings, and I've just picked up that kind of like blocky type of brushstrokes. Um, of course, he became like a master at this. I mean, but I mean, the way he just could translate all those values and stuff into just color and translate the world into that. I mean, the best way to do it is to paint from life, and if you can't, paint from a photograph. And still, if you can't, then you need to research. You need to look at photos of rocky mountain, distant rocky, rocky places, and understand the values and create a value structure within your painting. And also practice, paint it on a smaller scale, and then scale it up if your painting is larger already. Yeah, I could never just say like, here's the perfect way to do it, here's how you do it, and there's no other way to do it. I mean, there's a million ways to do it. There's probably a few ways to do it wrong, or let me rephrase that, not to do it wrong, but there's probably thousands of ways to do it better than certain ways. And it's just research. I mean, I got a ton of books on my shelf over there of all different artists, of great paintings that I love to look at. And that's how I figure out, like, okay, how should I handle this background of trees? Like, should it just be like completely soft, or brushstroke? Should it be less chaotic than I already have it? Should I tone it down? Should I darken it, lighten it? And I just look through painting books and go, okay, I look the way how he handled it. How does he handle it? Maybe I could handle it in this way. Very nice, thank you. I know the wrong ones. Yeah, I mean it just takes practice, man. I hope that helped in some way. It just takes a lot of practice, a lot of time, and if you're highlighting something, I can speak on values. Like, obviously, that from a very basic understanding, you have to know whether you're painting in light or painting in shadow. Because even in the distance, there's going to be light and shadow. And depending on how far away it is, will determine kind of how light or dark it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's really hard to tell you, like, how to exactly do it without me even seeing the painting or seeing the image, the scene that you're trying to create. So it's like, I don't know. But yeah, okay, so value is like, so once obviously you said highlight, so you're going to be painting in the light. And it's going to be a highlight. But you're trying to not just paint a highlight, you're trying to create a rocky surface. So there's a ton of different rocky surfaces out there. So it's like, what kind of rocky surface are you painting? Is it like Arizona type of rocks where it's like a wall of rock, with these different layers in it? Or is it like a bunch of different rocks? I did a master study of a John Singer Sargent painting. I'll show it to you right now. It's going to be behind me. And you can see all the different rock shapes there. But I was copying his painting. I saw it in a museum, and I copied this painting. So figuring out, like, highlighting these rocks, it was already figured out for me. I was just copying the painting, but it taught me a lot of different things as I was painting it. So it's all just research and having a greater understanding of what you're seeing and how you can translate that into your painting. And it all sounds very easy and simple, but we all know that it takes a lot of hard work. It takes many hours of painting and study and just figuring things out. When's what going to start? It is starting. We're here. This is it. Welcome. Welcome to the show. I mean, what do you want me to do? You want me to draw something, to paint something? I mean, my camera, I'm using my laptop, so like my camera isn't that great. I don't really have a camera for live streaming that I can like do a painting. I love Sargent. That's a great study. Thanks. Yeah, we ended up. My girlfriend and I took a trip to DC and saw that painting in the, I don't know, National Gallery of Art, like West Building or something. And my girlfriend really loved it. Of course, they didn't have a print of it. So I said, well, I'll do a painting study of it and try to paint it. And it took me a week or two to paint it. I mean, it took a lot of hours to paint that. It's a 24 by 36, and his painting is actually more square. It's like a 28 by 32 or something. I can't remember the exact size, but so I just skewed it a little bit. So the proportions are actually off on everything, but I took his painting on my computer and then just skewed it into those proportions and copied that. So it's not an exact copy, like study of it, but it's very close. And my girlfriend loves it, and it's cool having it on the wall. And I learned a lot from it. It was a really one of the toughest paintings I've ever done, obviously. So I don't know. I don't know what else to talk about. I didn't upload a video today. Um, I usually upload videos on Saturdays and like Wednesdays usually, or at least every Saturday. And I kind of didn't upload a video today because I don't really have a video to upload, and haven't had time to make any videos unfortunately. But I had some free time tonight, so I figured I'll do a live stream and just catch up with everybody, whoever's out there in the interwebs. So yeah. I learned a lot about portraiture by copying Sargent. I love his head of an Arab painting, one of my favorite. Yeah, I agree. That's a cool painting. It's definitely a cool painting. I haven't done a master study of any portraits, um, just because I can paint portraits and draw portraits. I just haven't. I don't know. I gravitate towards landscapes. That's my and forest scenes. Here, let me show you guys some forest paintings I did. Let me see if I can get the light on them to look right. So, behind me there. So this main one up here is my favorite. This tree, it's a giant sequoia. It fell back in early January in a storm here in California, and luckily I got to see it in early December. So this is from a photo that I took in early December, and yeah, one of my favorite paintings I've done, honestly. Let's show you a close-up on that, so you can really see the kind of thicker paint I have going on here. So yeah, like I said, I use paint straight from the tube, so that's how I've kind of evolved to paint. Here's one I haven't really shown at all before online. I don't know if I'm actually finished with it yet. I gotta figure out how to get this on. There we go. It's of some redwood trees. not the best lighting, but just showing you guys real quick, just stuff I've done and stuff I'm working on, and I just let it sit up there, and I think a lot of these paintings actually that you just saw, some of the smaller ones, I'm gonna end up, I don't know. I've been really debating lately about going back into them and kind of touching them up, fixing them up a little bit more, because they were kind of the first large forest paintings I've done, and they're actually already varnished, but I can remove the varnish pretty easily. So I'm thinking, maybe I could make a video, film myself, touching up this painting and really finishing it. Of course, now with the lights on, I kind of like the paintings when they're in the correct amount of light, but when I have like this light off, it's tough. I don't know. It's something I really have to think about before I screw up the paintings. But maybe I'll just leave them and just do better work in the future. Just keep moving forward. It's a tough decision. It seems bark and surfaces on trees seem the same as mountains in certain respects. Yeah, you're right. That's an interesting point. I've never even really thought about that. But when you look at someone like Edgar Payne, let me show you. Let me find real quick here a particular painting. He has some tree paintings. Now he paints a lot of mountains and like epic kind of real epic scenes. But you can see the tree painting. Sorry for the glare. But you can see the brushstrokes on there. These big kind of just kind of like brickwork type of brushstrokes. He uses that on the trees, and then when you look at you could look at any of his paintings, but I'm trying to find a particularly good one. He also uses that on things like boats. And there's a ton of different like sailboat type of paintings and stuff that are really cool. I'm looking for a mountain one that has a lot of kind of blocky brush strokes. I mean, even this, that'll work. Yeah. But you start to understand that the brushwork is important. Like it is important to create form and stuff. See, here's one that's look at the brushwork on the mountain there. Like the brushwork is important, but it's more about, I don't know if it's more about the colors and values, but it's like the brushwork almost doesn't matter. It does matter, but it's like you can use the same type of brushstrokes on mountains, snow, boats, trees, as long as you have the values and the form, creating the right form and values and stuff. But you can see in this painting the way he treated the rocks here compared to, look at how he treated it, how he painted the grass. So the grass is kind of like growing upward out of the ground, and the rocks are growing kind of like going horizontal and are a lot quieter. There's not as much brushstrokes on these rocks. It's all the color is very similar, very close in hue, but the grass is like growing up. So like brush strokes are important, but you're right. It's all very similar, and it can be similar. It just every painting is different the way you can handle it. There's not there's no rules to how you should handle painting a tree versus painting a mountain in snow. The bark can look, or the brush strokes can look very similar from bark to snow to mountains and stuff. Yeah, so that's an interesting point. Thanks for bringing that up. Just reading some comments here. Leave them as is, as it can show your progress. Yes, I did think about that, Kay. I believe that's important too. I think that's cool to kind of look back and go, wow, those are paintings, some of the first forest paintings I did. And hopefully in a few years I can look at like the new ones I've done and go, wow, I've come a long way. Or it's funny seeing how I used to handle those. Hopefully I can look back and go, wow, I was pretty good actually. But you know, it's just going to depend. Yeah, I might leave him. I'm going to leave him alone, I think, and just create new paintings. His mountains look less blocky than his trees. Well, you'd have to look at all his paintings, and I've definitely looked at all of them, and you know, it's there are some pretty blocky mountains that he has, and he doesn't do trees that often, and that was kind of a really loose example of the trees that he does. But interesting, you call it quiet. Yeah, I mean it. You know, it's kind of just a term I've heard before. It's kind of like you know, sometimes I create a background that's very chaotic, and I think of the term of quieting it down, which is kind of like subduing it, like simplifying it. I hope that makes sense. Like in chaotic, I just mean there's so much variety, whether it's color or variety of value, variety of shape. You know, there can be too much busyness in the background sometimes, and sometimes you want it to be a little more quieter so that the main focal point of your painting can kind of show through and not be overpowered by the background or overpowered by another element in the painting. So some areas you want your painting to have a lot of variety, whether it's a value, color, both, edges, shapes. And then some areas of your painting you want to be really quiet and like maybe be like white space almost. Like if you think about it in terms of like design, like in a magazine, sometimes they have a lot of white space on one page. And that's that breathing room. It's just quiet, you know. Hope that makes sense. When you paint plein air, do you find that the paint looks different on the palette than on the canvas? Yeah, I find that in any painting situation. And the way that I paint, I mix up my colors. I mix up like 7, maybe anywhere from 5 to 10 different batches of color, main batches of color that I'm going to use for the painting before I start working on the painting. And what that does is it gives me a jump start to the harmony of the painting, you know, the main harmony. I can always modify it. I usually do always modify it, modify the colors, create a little bit of variety in the colors and in the hues and stuff, or in the values. But it'll give you the main harmony of the painting. And the reason I was looking back is because I can show you right here on my palette. I was just painting earlier, and you kind of get an idea for what I'm talking about. Like I mixed up this green, this bright green, and then I mixed up a dark green or a dark color, and then some light oranges. So right away, and then the blue. So right away, that's the main harmony of the painting. Now, if I wanted, I can add in purples or reds, magenta. I can add in anything I want to this, but is it going to work in the painting? I can add this kind of golden color here, but these are the main mixtures that I'm going to use for the painting. So that way, when I do start the painting, if the green looks weird on the canvas, I know not to change it because I already know the rest of the colors that are going to dominate the painting. So I know that even though that bright green, really bright green, looks dark on the canvas, I know that once I add in all the other values, all the other colors, it's going to work. You know what I mean? Hope that makes sense. What is your opinion on abstract? It can be interesting. For me personally, I don't think I would ever do abstract paintings, but I think we can learn from them. Now there's a lot of different types of abstracts out there. I like abstracts that really speak emotionally or something, not the ones that you just throw some paint on the canvas with a dart, or what, fill up a balloon with paint and then you throw a dart at it and the paint splashes on. I'm not really into that, but creating different kinds of shapes and textures and stuff, that can be cool. I don't really have another opinion on it as far as that. It makes sense. You pointed out paint skies are busy or active, similar to the sails you showed a moment ago. Yeah, good point. That's kind of the opposite of quiet. That's perfect. Glad you pointed that out. Yeah, some of his skies, and see, this is the thing I loved about Edgar Payne, is like some of his skies are just one solid color, one blue, and then sometimes they're like totally two different colors completely broken up. Like he'll have just dots of blue and then dots of orange. And I wish he was still alive, because I would really love to pick his brain and go, why in this painting did you have just one color blue, and then why in this painting is it completely broken up? Like, what causes those decisions? Like, and I know with him, he kind of evolved styles over time. Like looking at this painting on the front of the cover, I'm going to go back to this book because I love this book. I need to actually look at it more. I'm glad I pulled it out. But this sky, and it's hard to see it on this. There we go. I look horrible, but it is mainly one solid. It's obviously one solid value. Little bits of a darker blue in there, but me looking at it here, there's actually like a mint green. It's really hard to see on this crappy camera, which is basically he probably used like Viridian, or maybe just he added yellow to the blue and really lightened it up. And there's also a very light magenta. And the reason why this works is because it's all the same value. It's all the same value as that main blue. And he added in this minty green, yellowy green, and the magenta, and just little dots in there. So this isn't really an active, I wouldn't really call this like an active, sky, but he used broken color. That's what this is. When it's the same value, but different shades of color, different hues, it's called broken color, and it's basically what the Impressionists did. And there's other books that have a whole chapter on broken color and stuff. And see, looking at this painting, that's a completely impressionistic type of painting. Like he used just little tiny strokes and little dots of color everywhere. And you can see on the mountain in the shadow, he uses a warm like dark red, and then a cooler gray. And then the sky here, he has some like, little bits of orange, and then dark blue and light blue. And actually little bits of light green and magenta again. So it's really interesting, like studying all this stuff and like trying to incorporate that in my work, like giving more life to the painting, because I think creates a lot more life and movement. Like, I mean, look at that painting. I mean, look at the sky on that. I mean, it's way more interesting than just putting in like a solid blue sky. And see, as I say that, look at these paintings. He has clouds in here, and the sky is just completely blue. So there's some paintings where he does like completely this broken color technique with small impressionistic strokes, and I think that's his earlier work. I'd have to really read this book and see the years, and take note of when he painted what. I think these are his later paintings. These say after 1929, and his earlier ones I think would probably be earlier 1900s when Monet was around and all those impressionistic guys were around. And this is much later when he's moving away from that uh, type of. See, all these desert ones, he doesn't really use any broken color at all. It's interesting. Sorry for that ramble, but I really find that fascinating. Like, I just love seeing how artists like handle these different situations. Like, there's so many different ways to handle something as simple as a sky. It's not just. It's not always. It doesn't always come down to just painting what you see. Sometimes it's a little bit more than that, and more like reacting to what you saw. Like, how did it make you feel, and painting that feeling, and that can create a more powerful painting and powerful message, that hits people emotionally. Ugh. One of my drawing coaches said he looks like he walked out of a John Singer Sargent painting. Yeah, look at how rugged the mountain is. It's almost the result of value as it is texture. Yeah. Yep. I mean, I've only seen two of Edgar Payne's paintings in real life, and the two that I saw were just, I was blown away by them. I wish I could have just camped out there my whole life underneath these paintings and just looked at them every day. And when you see pictures in books, especially pictures online, you really do not get a sense of the three-dimensional aspect of those paintings. The really great thing that I like about painters that are from around his time, like early 1900s, late 1800s, and kind of the impressionistic movement that Edgar Payne is like a part of. I've been to Southern California where I saw his painting in a museum, and there was a bunch of other California impressionistic painters there, and almost all the paintings had just really thick paint, and it was just incredible. And Edgar Payne's painting is no exception. There's just a lot of paint, like kind of that big tree painting I was showing you guys earlier with the snow and the bark. And they used that thick amount of paint that I used in the snow. They used that on the entire surface. I mean, it's really inspirational, and it's funny that artists today, like, we've kind of lost that. I mean, there's some painters that still do it, but I feel like they mostly paint with like a palette knife, and they just get a lot of texture and stuff. Like, there's different overall tone and mood. It seems to differ from painting to painting, from what you were showing. Yeah, I mean, it's color is king when it comes to paintings, and obviously photographs as well. I mean, especially photography nowadays, when you think of like how you can manipulate photos in Photoshop and stuff and creating a mood. I mean, when you create a photo that's mostly red, it can create a lot of different emotions, and it's going to be way different than a photo that has an entire undertone of blue. And it's a totally different mood just based on that color and based how off of how humans react to those colors. It's kind of, thinking about it now, I think it goes back to nature if you really want to contemplate it. I know it's probably fascinating for most of you guys out there. Everybody's falling asleep. Um, so, like, I think color goes back to like being in nature. I mean, obviously, it's like a human naturalistic thing, like, red lights, green lights, things like that. That comes from nature. We see stuff that's red and we go, oh crap, poisonous or deadly, stuff like that. So when you see like red, it can mean anger, it can mean passion, it could mean love, it could all these different things. And for painting, it's no exception. It's just how you handle. How can you make a landscape different from the last one you did, even though it's predominantly blues, greens, and oranges? How can you juggle those colors for that scene? What can you add to it that would make it different? And yeah, I don't have anything else to say on it, but oh. But yeah, I really like Monet's paintings too. There's actually right now it ends actually in like a week. There's a Monet exhibition. Yeah, Monet. I've seen one of his paintings in real life in an exhibition, and it blew me away. I mean, seeing his stuff online or in a book is like it's just so much different in person. Like it just the colors are so vibrant. Like it was just amazing. It's unreal seeing paintings in real life. Cameras just cannot capture that three dimensional aspect. Even if you take it from like the side or something, you still get like that it's three dimensional, but you really don't, just really don't get it unless you look at it in real life. All right, well, I've been rambling on for about an hour, so if anybody has any suggestions for things they want to see right now, or anything they want me to discuss or cover, or whatever, now's the time to do it because probably not going to be on much longer. I live near DC and have been to the Smithsonian Art Museum. Some incredible stuff there. Yeah, it really is. Yeah, the museums there are just unreal. A lot of Sargents, a lot of Monets, Van Gogh, Degas. What other? I mean, I saw a lot of different paintings when I went there, and I just wanted to spend the entire day there. But that place is really inspirational. What's your opinion on putting words in a painting? Are inspirational words too much? Like actually putting physical words in the painting? I'm not sure what you mean. Like I wouldn't put any words on my paintings. I mean, other people can. I mean, it depends on like if you do like collage type of paintings and stuff, then I don't know. But for the type of work that I do, I don't really put like words or anything in a painting. Why is my stream health not good? Thanks for another live chat. Yeah, no problem. You know, I try to do them every now and then, like once a month or something. But you know, I'm trying to keep on going with this Patreon thing, and I'm trying to upgrade my gear. You know, I got this camera here that I always use to film my painting lessons and stuff. But as far as live streams go, all I have is this laptop, which is a horrible camera, and I don't have any other camera that I can use to like plug in or give like a higher quality. Otherwise, I could do some live stream lessons and just do more stuff with like live streams instead of just rambling for an hour or two. But yeah, I mean, trying to think of like what could I show. I mean, I did two paintings today, and you know, I don't think they're like my best work. I could show you guys. They're still wet. Um, yeah, give me a second. So this will kind of show like, you know, the everyday grind that you have to do as an artist. Like, you know, I've been doing these small 6x8 paintings like every day that I can. And I have you know, I have like 10 or 12 good ones over there on the floor that are already dry that I've done. And the two today, I'm like, you know, I'm like, do I like these? I don't know, but it's not really the point. I just got to keep doing them, whether I do a good painting or not. And you know, maybe I can go back to them in a week or two, and I'll be able to look at them differently and go, okay, I should do this with them. But anyway, here was the first one I did today. This is I've never really tried anything like this, so I wanted to try it, and it was from a photograph that I took yesterday in a redwood forest. And there's usually a lot of ferns growing on the redwood on the forest floor. So I got a cool photo of kind of the light hitting these ferns, and I wanted to paint it. And this is how it came out. I took a while on this painting because it was so chaotic. I was trying to make sense of it, but this is what came about. Now, there are some good areas of this painting that I enjoy. Let me try to get that without a glare. It's really tough. Now, particularly this side of the painting I enjoy most, but you can see it's pretty chaotic. It's a chaotic scene to kind of understand. Just trying to get the glare off of there. But you can kind of tell what it is. But also you can see how thick the paint is that I used. So, like I said, not my greatest work, but you know, as an artist, you're not going to do your greatest work every day, and that's just how it goes. Hold on, I got paint all over my hands now. Give me a second here. I did another painting I'll show you guys of a giant sequoia. And this one was pretty interesting because the giant sequoia was completely in light. And I don't think I've ever really done one like this. And the photo looked good that I took, but it doesn't mean that the painting looks good. And that's always the challenging part, is it going to be a good painting? And right now, I'm unsure. I don't really like it. The background I had to kind of mess with. It's still a little chaotic. The whole thing is kind of chaotic. Some part of me still likes it, but like I said, I just have to keep rolling with it. You know, you can see the background. It's just kind of chaotic. You know, I tried subduing it a bit, and you know, maybe I got too dark, and you know, I don't know. You know, I think having full light on the front of it like that, you know, I may need some darker values in here. because I think right now all that light on the front just flattens the tree. So I think it needs just some darker values instead of so many like lights on it that are kind of like a highlight. But like I said, for me to figure this out and for me to create a great painting, can't do it every day. Doesn't mean I can't try, and I do like some aspects of that painting, but you know, it's hard to, especially at that size of a painting, it's hard to create. It's hard to put a lot into it and a lot onto it. There's only so much you can do and like detail you can put in and variety and stuff at that size. Now that painting may work as an 18 by 24. It may work. I'll be able to paint it and do all kinds of stuff. But anyway, those were my paintings from today. Oh boy. Just reading some comments here. I'm catching up. Here, I mean, I'll show a few more if you guys want to see. I'll show like some of my good ones. I'll show some of my good ones. If you follow me like on Facebook or Instagram, you may have already seen these, but you know, here's a giant sequoia in dappled light. Let me get some better light on this. So there's some snow down there, blah, blah, blah. So that's one that I really like that came out well. See, I mean, it just, every painting is different and you know, I'm not always going to be at the top of my game every day. So just the way that I handle the paint here and painted this light, it just works for me. I really enjoy that one. And then this one is another one that I enjoy as well, of some coastal redwoods. You know, the lighting in there, like it just works for me. But you know, if I were to scale this painting up, this composition would probably be boring. So I'd have to change up the trees a little bit, create some different branches going on, and kind of, you know, change up how many trees are over here, push them together. You know, you have to modify things, but I think these two are ones that like when I'm at the top of my game, you know, and you can just see the difference. And it may just, you never know, it may be different. It may not be me, it may be the photograph, it may be the type of painting I'm trying to do. It could be, it's all these different factors that play a role in how the painting's going to turn out. So maybe that giant sequoia in full light, as I was saying, it works as a photograph, and it looks cool because I was there, I took the photograph, the light looks great, you know, like this. And then when you try to translate into a painting, especially a small painting like that, it's like, it misses something. Like it needs more of like form of the tree, the cylindrical form. So it needs kind of a shadow just slightly on one side, just to turn the form a bit. Because right now it just looks flat. So yeah. Anyway. Two more, just real quick. Some giant sequoias. See, another interesting lighting situation. And the way that I handle the background here, it works. You know, and just having these different kind of value shapes going on and creating a, you know, it just creates more interest. To me, anyway. And this one is in between good and bad for me. But it's some redwoods here with some rocks. and a creek, water reflections, real shallow, small creek. And this one was very challenging because getting these trees to work this small, usually I paint them larger on this type of canvas, this small canvas. And then getting the rocks to work, to look like rocks, I don't know if I quite did it, but, it is what it is, and the reflections look okay. There are areas of it that could be better, blah, 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 but. So yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. So yeah, I've just been painting, man. I've just been painting small paintings like that. I'm just trying to get back into it, do paintings all the time, and really work on my style and kind of what I want to paint and figure out like, what kinds of colors I like to use and what kind of lighting situations I like to use. And I think I've kind of figured it out. I'm really good at painting like the dappled light type of scenes. I really enjoy those. Or just where there's kind of like a little bit of light, Oh man, you guys asked a lot of questions. Let me see, let me catch up here. How long have you been painting for? I started painting in, technically I started painting in 2009. But when I seriously started painting, like when I found out what I wanted to do was painting, I started painting in 2011. So at the end of 2011. So almost 6 years, 5.5 years, 6 years. I don't know. I can't add. I'm an artist. So since the surface is so small, does that make the impact huge? Does that make sense? It's like a narrowed view. It's like a narrowed in view of the most important aspect. Yeah, I mean, painting smaller, it helps you understand how to get all the values and colors and things to work. So that when you go to paint a larger painting, you kind of know how to deal with it for the most part. I think the fern one is just as good as these. Yeah, like I said, I think I have to let it sink in a little bit longer. But yeah, this fern one, it's all still wet. I don't want to drop it. I think over here it gets a little lost on kind of what's going on. I'm really not sure about it, but I think I use highlights a little too much. I think that's the problem. But it is what it is. That's how it really was in real life, so I'm going with it. I blame nature. But yeah, I kind of like this one because it has this like distant background that's kind of darkened down, shadows, and this nice silhouette of a fern growing. That's what really drew me to that photo. It looks like a great photo. And it took a lot of work to kind of get this separation of ground cover. There's wood chips and all kinds of like dirt and stuff going on. And then there's plants on the ground growing underneath the ferns. And then there's ferns growing up. There's like 3 different fern plants. There's one here, one here, one here, probably one back there. So like there's a lot going on, but I think having it in a frame and putting it up on the wall once it's dry, I'll be able to see like maybe it's an okay painting. I think I want to keep exploring that though, like painting more ferns and plant type of scenes like that that you'll find in these forests, because that's my thing. That's what I like. So I'm going to keep trying, and I appreciate the comment. Thanks for. Oh, you just got here. Bummer. What's going on? What's going on, bro? Conversetry? I'm not sure how to say your name. So yeah, thanks everyone for the comments. I appreciate it. You know, I'm doing what I can, and just doing some small paintings. I have some more if you guys want to see some more. I mean, I have a few good ones that I like that I would show off. Hold on, give me a second. So these are exclusive. I haven't really showed these online. I just posted this one today. Um, but I'm going to be posting these on my Instagram and Facebook like in the next few days, like every day. So this one I did of a meadow. These are redwood trees here in the background, these taller trees, and up on the side here. But this is a meadow leading into the forest that I go to all the time. So yeah, you know, sometimes I like getting out of the forest and like painting different type of light, you know, with the sky, the ground, trees. Um, you know, painting these forest scenes inside the forest are actually super difficult because sometimes you don't have all these different planes. You don't have the sky plane to like base all the other values off of and stuff. So like, I almost find scenes like this a lot easier than like these forest scenes. So there's that one. Um, let's see, what's the best one to show? I've just been doing a lot of different little studies of stuff, and this one's okay, but just a dappled light forest scene. I'm not too wild about how I did the brush strokes here. I kind of overworked it a bit. See if I can get some light on it without glaring. You know, there's some strong blues in the background and stuff, but yeah, I'm not really a fan of how I did the brush strokes. Just a little too like brush strokey with it or something. This one's not my favorite. I may actually go back into this one, but this one's an overcast scene of some redwoods. I think I would like slightly put some bluer tones in the background here, darken it just a bit. Other than that, I like it. These two more, that's it. I think these turned out pretty well for the most part. There's a redwood scene with some light on these trees, dappled light, and then the little creek here in the foreground again, which I'm going to be painting a lot because I really want to understand how to do these reflections because I've kind of just been BSing them. I'm not really sure how to do them, but just some rocks down there and stuff. Okay, last one. Another one, this is of the creek with the rocks. I think this may be my best effort yet at getting these rocks to look right, but it's also the largest I've painted the rocks. So, you know, there's some light right here hitting the rocks, and then these other ones are in shadow. Part of the creek here in reflection there from up above. Some light on the trees. So, I mean, it's a really cool scene. It's just getting that to work, getting it to look good, realistic, especially at this size, is difficult for me. You know, when you can see the brush strokes and stuff, you know, it's all just shadows and value. And I'm trying to simplify these rocks. Like, how can, you know, there's so many little rocks in there, and it's like, how can I simplify that to make it look real? And that's what I try to do, is just simplify it and kind of use color temperature. I really used color temperature in this one. Like, I made the warms a lot warmer, you know, at least compared to this painting. You can see there's a lot more red in this painting, like reds and yellows, and then blues on the rocks compared to this painting. So I'm just like playing around with stuff, you know. That's what these little paintings are about to me, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Conversatory. Oh, my sister's here. Where's the most recent one you did with the bright colors? Okay, it wasn't the last one. My sister's making me do one more. Okay, this one was kind of an experiment with like, I really wanted to use like this bright blue purple. And God, the camera on this computer sucks. There we go. But yeah, I use this really bright blue purple, and I had to really tone it down. You know, as far as I had to end up using it around the rest of the painting, like in the background. I used purple in the foreground here, so I had to create a lot more purples and blues to get it to work, and it's pretty cool. It really looks crappy on this screen. I'm sorry, folks, but that one was an experiment. I like how it came out overall, but oh yeah, rule of thirds on this one. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, over here, and then the reflections move down this way. Yeah, it's true. And right there, rule of thirds. I didn't even really notice that, honestly. I take I take a big photo and then I kind of just crop it how I like it, and that's how it naturally happened. Um, Rocks are deceptively hard to draw and paint. Yeah, they are. It's something I'm really starting to practice right now. Like that creek, I'm just going to keep painting that creek over and over and over and over. Do you do this every Saturday night? No, I do not. Unfortunately, sorry. Any tips for beginning artists? Started a month or two ago. I improved, but wondered if you have any tips. Yeah, I have a ton of tips, dude. I can I can overwhelm you right now if you want. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, tips is basically try to find what you love to do and do it as much as you can. Have fun with it, and really just have fun with it. Practice, be patient, and experiment with a lot of different things. Whether it's drawing, painting, oil pastels, everything. I mean, just like experiment with everything, and then find that one thing that you like to when you really want to get serious about it. Try to find like one thing that you really like, and it could be anything. It could be like butterflies or flowers, or it doesn't have to be stuff that's feminine. It could be swords or like you know whatever. Find whatever it is you like, and then just draw that all the time, paint that all the time, and find an interesting way to capture that no one else has done before. That's what I'm trying to do with all these tree paintings. And it's funny, my girlfriend the other day, she went upstairs. I have a whole bunch of paintings upstairs, obviously, as you could imagine, on the walls. And she was like, "Oh my God, there's nothing but tree paintings up here." And I said, "Yeah, the whole apartment is nothing but tree paintings now. I've gotten rid of all the other paintings that aren't tree paintings mostly. Like all the big, large paintings are tree paintings. That's it. That's what I do. I do forest scenes." Keep doing the thing. Love seeing all the new ones. Plus, don't you have tip videos? Yeah, I have a ton of tip videos. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, I mean, just go to my channel and type in tips or whatever. Just go check out all my. The best thing to do is check out my playlists. If you check out my playlists, I break it down. Like I try to section everything up into playlists. So I have like color mixing, color theory playlist. You know, painting tips, tricks, playlist. I can't even think right now. I got a how to draw playlist. I got a million different playlists. Free painting lesson playlist. Basically, just check out the playlist. Yeah, I mean, try to approach it from like if you really if art is like what you really want to do. Like for me, it's really what I want to do. I want to be a painter. I would love to just sit at home all day, do paintings, and sell them to people that love my work, and ship them out and do paintings and teach people how to paint. That's what I would love. That's what I would do every day if I could, and make a living from it. That's what I would do. And I would go out into the forest, take trips out in the forest, paint out in the forest, take photos out in the forest, and just do large paintings. But try to approach it from the aspect of like, think of a sport or going to the gym. I mean, if you want to build muscles, how are you going to build muscles? You got to work out, and you got to work out a few times every week, if not every day, every other day. Same, no different with art. If you want to be good at painting, you want to get good at art, you got to do art consistently, practice consistently. You got to lift those weights, son. You got to lift the weights. You got to lift the weights to get the gains. You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to. Yeah, so I hope that helps. You know, it's just real basic stuff. I mean, if you have more specific question, I can go into specifics. But yeah, it's basically like get inspiration from other artists, find out what kind of art you like, find out what you like to do, and then once you figure all that stuff out, figure out how the materials work, all the technical aspects, get over all that stuff, and then just start creating. Start creating all the time as much as you can, and lift the weights, get the gains. You know, that sounds stupid, but that's what it is. Do you do YouTube full time or do you have a job? I have a day job that I would like to eventually quit. My goal is by the end of this year quit my day job, but you know it takes a ton of work, ton of work. I mean, this YouTube thing is a ton of work. I don't think I think 90% of people on this channel and like people that follow me, they have no idea how much work it actually is, and they don't know how much, you know, people think like, oh, you're just making a killing from YouTube videos, and it's like the total opposite, like complete opposite. And that's the crazy thing about it. You know, I've made 600 something videos in like a few years, and I haven't even made a year's salary that you could live from on it in a few years. So it's a ton of work, man. It's a lot of work. So I have a day job. I do graphic design, but luckily I'm able to work from home most of the time. But when I do have to do graphic design, I have to really just focus and do that. I can't be painting. I can't be going out somewhere. I got to just sit here and do it. And I mean, usually my girlfriend's here most of the time. She's not here tonight, but usually most of the time she's here. And I can't make videos. I can't do things because our apartment there's no other room. Our apartment is one giant room. There's no other door to go into. So I can only make videos when she's not here. And it's very limiting. So next year we're moving out. We're going to a place with one bedroom. I got to upgrade this apartment. So that's what I'm working toward. I mean, that's what this whole thing's about. You know, it's just working towards helping people, doing my paintings, and you know, trying to create it, and make a living. You know, make a living, and live in a better life than this 400 square foot apartment. You know, paying a ton of money for rent every month on this place because we live in a college town. My girlfriend's going to law school, and you know, it's crazy. It's just a crazy life, you know. But it is what it is. I first started watching you and Draw with Jazza, and then I was like, wow, I want to draw like them. So I use the artists I watch for my inspiration. Yeah, I get that. That's a good thing. But I think you should check out some professional artists. Some, like, go on Google and just type in, like, whatever you do. You like portraits? Do you like landscapes? Just type in, like, landscape drawings. Type in portrait drawings and just see what's out there. There's so much out there, dude. It's way better than stuff on YouTube. You know, like my drawing videos, those little 15-minute videos I made. I made those one day. I made those one night in like 15 minutes. I had the crappiest setup back then. I couldn't even make videos that well. I had no idea that those videos, one of those videos, the very first, that's my most watched video, has over 1.5 million views. It's on its way to 2 million views. I had no idea YouTube was just gonna, boom, that video would just take off. That was just some crappy video about drawing I made one night that somebody asked me to make. And then I ended up just making a second and third, and then all the videos just took off, and I had no idea that was gonna happen. And that's the crazy thing about it, is like, with this whole YouTube thing, my whole channel is about painting. And the main video that has the most no pun intended, is a drawing video. And I never even knew, I had no idea that video was just going to take off and it'd be watched by millions of people. So it's pretty crazy. But I'm very grateful that people are watching it and drawing from it, and you know. So yeah, YouTube is crazy, man. YouTube is crazy. That's why I'm now on Patreon. I have a Patreon now. And I know everybody, says you're a sellout, you're on Patreon, you're a sellout, just trying to make money off of people. And it's like, look, there's people out there that are serious, that really want to learn. And I'm giving out the real hard-hitting info on my Patreon. It's going to help people go from zero to where I'm at, you know what I mean? It just depends on that individual. It puts the responsibility on the individual to use this knowledge and do it. But yeah, I mean, for somebody like me who is out here teaching it and giving info, Patreon is a logical step, because YouTube just isn't doing it anymore. Like I said in my last live stream, my views one year, so far this year compared to 2 years ago on YouTube, my views have doubled. I've doubled my views on YouTube. And guess what? My money has stayed the exact same on YouTube. And that's not right. That's just not right. My views have doubled. This January compared to January 2015, my views have doubled. My money has stayed the same. That's not right. You know what I mean? So I got to do something. Does your studio have carpet? I rent to, and I'm always scared I'm going to get paint on the carpet. I'm always interested in how people set up painting studios in apartments. That's a great question. I do have carpet. If you can see there, I have some carpets. And what I do is I have a gray towel. It doesn't have to be a gray towel. It could be any type of towel. But all you do is where you're painting at, get some kind of, you can get a canvas tarp, like a real heavy-duty canvas tarp, and just lay that down over your carpet. Or get some kind of like plastic that you roll out. That would suck to like step on and paint on that. But like a canvas tarp or a towel or 2 towels, lay out 2 towels over your easel and over where your palette's going to be. And try not to fling the paint around too much, you know what I mean? But that's what I do. I have carpet as well. Luckily, I've lived here long enough that we're no longer responsible for the carpet. We've lived in this apartment for almost 4 years. And like after a certain amount of years, like you're not responsible for any damages to the carpet anymore. So it's like, cool. I don't really have to worry about it anymore. But um, yeah, just throw down some towels. You know what I mean? And just be careful not to spill anything. I mean, you spill something, all you do is steam clean it. You know what I mean? And but if you do spill something, clean it up right away with like hot warm water, and get as much of it up as you can, and then steam clean it later on. But right then and there, you got to clean it as soon as possible. But yeah, like solvent and stuff, be really careful not to spill that. But that's kind of why you have the towels down, to kind of hopefully soak up as much as you can. But yeah, I mean, I've gotten tiny bits of paint on the floor before and just kind of scrubbed them out real quick. But you know, uh, hasn't really impacted the carpet that much. And I just put a towel down just in case. What do you think of Bob Ross? I think he's a cool dude. You know, he was one of my, he was a big inspiration when I started painting. Just his, like, not really his paintings. His paintings did help, like, the whole nature aspect. I watch his stuff from time to time just to kind of reminisce, and I really love his, like, calmness and his peacefulness. And, yeah, you know, I kind of have, I try to have, you know, not the way that he does it, but I try to like have that for myself, you know, that peace and calm and love for nature and stuff. And yeah, he was a cool dude. I mean, he didn't have like the greatest paintings on the planet. He had a little cheesy way of painting, but it is what it is. He made a name for himself. He paid his bills, and you know, he did what he did. You know, he did what he could. You could be curing cancer with your Patreon money and people would still complain. Yeah, I know, man. It is what it is, though, you know. Like you know, Patreon, that's the thing. I'm not forcing you guys to subscribe to it. And, you know, it's up there for people that want to support me. You know, you can give $1 if you want. You can give $1 for 1 month and that's it. You can cancel after that. You know, it's not like people act like it's such a big deal and they want to hate on me for that. And it's like, look, it's up there. If you don't want to give anything and you just want to watch my YouTube videos, cool. That's support. That helps me. It does help me. I'm not going to say it doesn't help me because I get, you know, a few $100s every month from YouTube and it's helpful. But it gets to a point where I've been doing it for 5 years now and it's stayed the same. Everything has stayed the same, even though my views have like doubled and tripled over the years. It's stayed the same the last 2 years. And my views have doubled, and I'm like, dude, this is criminal, dude. And it's not that it's criminal because it's ad revenue, so like, you know, that stuff goes up and down. But when it's basically stayed the exact same, even though my views have doubled, I'm like, I can't, I can't rely only on YouTube anymore. I can't just hope that I'm going to keep getting more views and more subscribers because it doesn't matter. I could have a million subscribers and it wouldn't matter. I still get barely any views on all my videos when I upload them. You know, it is what it is. So I try not to even think about it and I just do my own thing, man. I just do my own thing. Anyway, rant over. Let's see. Polar bear trash bag. uh, your apartment should look like Freud's studio, in my opinion. What does Freud's studio look like? I'm gonna have to look up a photo of that now. Yeah, one time I almost knocked over a jar of solvent. Yeah, that's not good. Whew. Good thing you didn't. You can give me a random idea or topic. Um, I mean, what do you mean? What are you looking for? It's kind of hard for me to think of a random idea or topic. Um, I don't know, bicycle. Oh, is that what people were saying? Trash bag, polar bear, and stuff. Or is that what you put under your painting? I don't know, it's getting confusing now. There's this guy on YouTube called something, and he reminds me of Modern Bob Ross on drugs. He's hilarious. Yeah, there's a lot of, kind of Bob Ross reincarnates almost, People just kind of like stolen his identity and his type of paintings and kind of do them better. I'll have to check him out though. It sounds funny. Re-art? Is that what it's supposed to be? Like re-art? Yeah, I'll have to check that out and see it. You should reach out to companies for self-sponsors. Like, yeah, I know, but like who? Like, I don't even know. I mean, I use Gamblin's paints exclusively. Maybe I should reach out to them and be like, yo, I want some, what do? I want some free paint. It's not like, I don't really care about that. But I don't really know, like, yeah, I'd have to think about it, There's so many artists that already do that, and like they've already taken up all the slots, you know what I mean? Total mess. Yeah, I bet it is a total mess. I'm looking up photos of it right now. Let me see if I can. Oh, dude, there's just like paint all over the wall. Like, who's another messy studio? There was a guy, I think it was, I don't want to say his name if I don't know it. Francis Bacon? Maybe that was his? There's some artists out there, like his studio is like really way messier than that. If I can find an image of it, I'll share it with you guys. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Hope you enjoying this live stream. Hope I'm giving out Disney. Work with them. The funny thing, work with Disney. The funny thing is, I was with my, YouTube has like the networks you can subscribe to, like that's how you get your money under a network. My network, I was signed up with for 2 years ago. Was Maker Studios, and they, like last year or the year before, got bought by Disney. So when I got my paycheck every month, the thing actually said Disney. I was getting paid by Disney. And they recently, in the last, just a month ago, 2 months ago actually, the end of March, they just dropped a ton of people from their network because they're changing the goals for their network. They're only going to work with top YouTubers, and they're not going to work with smaller YouTubers anymore. They're changing the aim of their channel network. So yeah, working with Disney, they just dropped me. So that's pretty ironic, right? Do you do digital art? No, not really. I have a tablet, but it's not that good. It's an old bamboo tablet that I bought a few years ago. And it doesn't really work with my Mac. It doesn't even work. But I tried doing a digital painting. Let me see if I can find it and I'll show you guys. I tried doing a digital painting. Oh, here it is. Let me see if I can share my screen or save the photo of it. I tried doing a digital painting of one of my real paintings, and I was doing it with my mouse. That's all I had. I didn't have a tablet, and I only spent probably like 30 minutes, maybe not even 30 minutes on it. I kind of got impatient with it because, I was just trying it as an experiment. Like, am I able to digital paint? Can I digitally paint? And it's more of like a sketch. Let me see if I can share my screen here, guys. Give me 1 second. Window capture, display capture. I think I want display, maybe window. Window capture? Photoshop. Oh, there we go. That works. So here's like me starting a digital painting. And like I said, I was just using my mouse. I didn't have a pressure sensitive tablet. Actually, I don't have one. I have an old bamboo one that was like 60 bucks. And is my thing still working? Seems like it's lagging. Probably because I have Photoshop open. But anyway, sorry guys, I was just checking to see if my stream is open. So there's the smaller image is the painting I did, and then the slightly larger one is the digital painting that I tried to do. Um, so anyway, but like I said, I didn't spend a lot of time on that. Like I could spend so many more hours, I think, on that and really like getting it to look like a real painting. But I was just using my mouse and just it got annoying. It got annoying really quickly without like having a tablet or like if I had one of those touch screens that I could draw on and paint on, that would be really cool. Um, maybe one day I'll save up for one of those or something. I don't know. Um, that's when I become a real sellout and start raking in a lot of dough. Then I'll get like a was it Wacom tablet. I'll get one of those $2,000 or $3,000 touchscreen tablets, and then you'll know I'm a complete sellout. uh, Anytime I do digital stuff, I feel like I'm cheating because I can undo mistakes easily. Yeah, I know what you mean. I think that painting, I don't know if I did it on one layer or not. Maybe I didn't. I think I did it mostly on one layer, and that's one way to. You just give yourself rules. I mean, when you're doing like digital art, you just say, I'm gonna do this whole painting on one layer, and I can't undo anything. And then you just stick with it, and that's like real painting. Because if you make a mistake, you have to paint over it. Now with oil painting, you can like scrape it off or rub it off with some solvent, but you still have to repaint it and paint over it. So that's how I would paint digital painting or treat digital painting. Excuse me. I know a lot of people like have these different blending modes and then do this atmospheric effect and all this stuff, and it's like that's cheating. But yeah, it is what it is. That's the digital world. The internet says one of the best ways to get a sponsor is to win competitions, so find some fairs or something to enter your paintings into. Yeah, that's a good idea, something I'm working on. Um, the problem is around here, I'd have to do like something in like Southern California or something because in the Sacramento area, it's like the art. I went to. I had I did this painting, this one. I won an award of excellence at the Sacramento Fine Arts show that they had, and it was a total joke. Like there was like it's this little dinky building. No one goes to the shows. It's this rundown place, and it's like they clearly have no audience. It comes in. The only audience are the artists, and it's just like, wow, this is it. The Sacramento Fine Arts, it's like they need to really change the perception of art around here because it's bad. All right, I'm getting off in the next 5 minutes because it's going to be 10 o'clock here on the West Coast, and I got to get to bed. I'm actually planning in the morning, I think. I totally forgot about this until now. I'm going to go to a sequoia grove, but I want to get there at sunrise, which is about 5:45, 6 o'clock in the morning. And it's a 2-hour drive, 2 hour and 25-minute drive. So I'm gonna have to wake up early. So I need to get off here soon. So yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging in there with me. 20 people watching. And thanks for hanging in there for 2 hours. So anyway, darn it. Oh, there we go. It loaded back up. Okay, we're good. Thought I lost it there. I accidentally went back on the browser. Oh, yeah, so I'm running on empty here, guys. It's been fun. And I gotta get my painting stuff put away for the night and all that stuff. Okay, waiting for the... Yeah, no problem, everyone. Should be good. I didn't even get into the epic... Here, last 5 minutes, let me tell you the epic story that happened yesterday that I was stupid. Real quick story. So I went to the Redwood Forest, coastal redwoods, only about an hour and a half away, not even that much. I always go to it, and for the longest time I've known there's these hills right next to that. The Redwood Forest is kind of on a hill. So there's these rolling hills behind it, and they go up about 700, 800 feet. And there's a trail that goes up all the way up to the top. And for the longest time, I've been wanting to go up it. So I decided yesterday, I was like, all right, I'm going to go to this Redwood Forest, take some photos. Afterwards, I'm climbing all the way to the top of this thing. I'm going to be king of the mountain. I want to see everything. And of course, yesterday was one of the hottest days we've had this whole year. It was about 95 degrees. I started climbing up this hill. I had jeans on. I had a short sleeve shirt like this, carrying my camera. My water was in the car. I had just drank one of these, a Naked, with small juice. This was the only thing I've had all day long. I don't start eating until noon. I intermittent fast. I only eat from noon to 8 o'clock at night. And this was the first thing I had all day, and that was the only thing I had all day. I got to the Redwood Forest right at noon. I went around for about an hour and a half, took photos in the forest, walked around, went to my car, drank one of these, drank a little bit of water, and then went all the way up the hill. It was 1:30 in the afternoon, 95 degrees. I was dying. I literally, there were so many times I was going up this hill, and it was just this curvy road all the way up this hill. I mean, the slope was so steep. It had to be like 15 to 17 degree slope. No joke. And, you know, that doesn't sound that steep, but in most cars, like on the road, there's nothing that steep. Usually it's like a 7% grade is like the steepest you're going to find. And I don't know when my next live stream is going to be. I don't plan them. I apologize. So once I get another room where I can have a dedicated room to do my painting stuff, I'll definitely have a dedicated time, but it's going to be a while. It's going to take me some time. I apologize. Back to the story. So I started climbing up this hill, and it just kept curving around. And I thought okay, I'm getting close to the top. I've been doing this for a while, and okay, the top's going to be right around this curve. I can see the top. I go around this curve, and then there's another area that's the top, and I'm like, damn, this thing just goes up forever, and there's barely any shade this whole trail. It's all just in the sun, and I'm just breathing so hard. I'm getting dehydrated. My my head is pounding. You know, I'm getting a headache. And there's so many times, like there's probably 10 or 12 times where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to go any further. I can't go any further. And then I would tell myself, I can do this. I'm going to do it. I can do it. I know I can do this. So I just kept pushing through. And I made it so close to the top. I swore I could see the top. I went, out of 100%, I probably went 95% to the top. And I got that far, and I just felt going to the top, the view, it wasn't worth it getting the view that I was getting. Now, the view was very epic. I could see the whole redwood forest. I could see there's a ridge across the way with hills, and I was eye level with that ridge. And I could see Berkeley with the bridge, Berkeley, California, the Bay Area, to my left. And then when I'd look all the way to my right, I could see the ocean. It was unbelievable, unbelievable view, but I never made it quite to the top. And my phone yesterday, I'll have to show you guys, said that, and this thing's a lie, dude. This thing is a freaking lie. But it says right here, I only climbed 54 floors. So it said I went up like 540 feet, and I know I went way higher than that, dude. That ridge was like 700, 800 feet, and I was damn close to the top. Maybe the ridge isn't that high, but dude, the redwood trees are on a hill, and the redwood trees are about 250 feet tall. I was above those trees, and I started way below that hill on the ground. I mean, I was so high up there, dude. But yeah, I got up there, and the crazy part was I didn't know how I was getting down because I was dead, dude. I literally, luckily there was some trees, there was some shade with a few trees, and that's where I stopped because the hill just went up a little bit more, and I was like, I can't do it. It's not worth it. And so I went back down a little bit under these trees, and I sat there for like 15 minutes, like just zoning out and like feeling slightly nauseous. And I was telling myself in my head, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get back down, man. I really don't like. And literally, there's no one else on this trail. There's no one else around because no one is as stupid as I am to go all the way up here. And there's no car. There's no driving down this hill. There's no cars up here. There's no elevator. There could be mountain lions up there. So I'm like, oh, dude, I hope there's no mountain lions that are just gonna eat me. You know what I mean? I'm always like afraid of that. And I was just up there like dying in my head, and I was like, all right, I made it up here. I can make it down. So it took me 30 minutes to get up there, and then 30 minutes back down. But it was something I'll never do again, and it was the dumbest, really dumb choice, not even taking any water and doing it at 1:30 in the afternoon when it's the hottest time of the day. Pretty stupid. But yeah, tomorrow I'm going to go into this giant sequoia forest, and I went last weekend, but I didn't go to this one grove, and there's some epic dogwood trees right now with white flowers on the trees. So this is the perfect time of the year to go. I'm going to get some spring photos, early sunrise photos that I've never done before, and just try to see what the forest is like and capture some interesting photos. And helicopter to the ER. Yeah, I know, right? I mean, it was unreal, dude. I wish I could have, I had my camera. I could have video. I was thought about vlogging it, but I was so out of breath and like dying that I was like, I can't even vlog this right now. Like, it wouldn't even be anything. But like, it literally took me 30 minutes to walk up this thing, and like, as I was going down, I had to like partially run as I'm going down because it was so steep. You couldn't even walk down it. It was so steep. Like your momentum just pushed you forward. And it was unreal. You need a GoPro. Yeah, exactly. Dude, one of my goals on my Patreon right now is when I get so much money every month, you can create goals on there. And one of them is to get a GoPro. Because here's the thing. This is what would be really cool that I want to do. And I'm trying to save up money for it. I just haven't saved up enough yet because I just had to pay a couple grand in taxes, which sucks. And, but that's how it goes, And so I'm trying to save up some money, and I want to get this GoPro because now GoPro made a stabilizer, a handle stabilizer that you put the GoPro on. and you can mount the stabilizer onto a chest strap thing. And I've seen videos of the stabilizer, and it's freaking epic, dude. It's amazing. So the point is, my plein air adventure videos, I could take my videos to the next level with wearing a GoPro with that stabilizer. Like my painting, I could have that on it, and that would be one of the cameras for me painting, and it would give you like basically my view of me painting, and it would be stabilized. So me moving, it wouldn't be all jerky and stuff. It would just be completely smooth. The only problem is buying a GoPro and the stabilizer is like $700 and something, $800. So I'm trying to save up for it because my plein air videos are going to go to the next level, dude. And GoPro also makes a drone that I eventually down the road want to get to. And that would even take my videos to the next level. Like when I go to a redwood forest, like doing drone video overhead and just capturing epic scenes where I'm painting and just tell a more epic story. So it's stuff I'm thinking about. I've been thinking about for a few months now. And it's just saving up the money to do it. And then I know my plein air adventure videos are going to be epic one day. I got to be patient, and it sucks. It really sucks. But yeah, getting a GoPro would be epic. How cool would it be to see the video of Brandon saying, "Sitting here, can't breathe, got an awesome painting though. I think the mountain lions are coming." Yeah, exactly, dude. But yeah, that was the stupidest thing I did yesterday. That was probably the dumbest thing I've ever done in a very long time. And climbing that even if I climbed 540 feet, it was brutal, dude. Brutal just in the sun. But yeah, tomorrow should be cool. I just got to wake up early. It's been a while since I've woken up that early. But I'm going to try to get out there. The park opens at sunrise, and hopefully hopefully I can find some light on some trees and be able to capture it. But yeah, should be cool. Should be cool. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for all the support. Even if you just watch my YouTube videos, much appreciated. If you support me on Patreon, even for just $1 a month, dude, I totally appreciate you. And anyway, yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next video, man. I think my next video is going to come out Wednesday. And I have a lot of video ideas planned. I just haven't done them yet. But this next video is just going to be another critique video, but it's a good one. It's going to be a good critique. Really small things in there, but powerful things that's going to push your paintings to the next level. So anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good evening. Have a good day. Stay tuned for the next video. Take care of yourself. Peace. Keep on painting. Don't get discouraged. Peace.